Frontiersmen, we don't tell stories, we spin yarns. I got yarns to shake with you about bars. You know what bars are? Big ugly things that stand up 10, 11 feet high. Big claws and big
bar.
teeth. That is good.
Quiet down. Quiet down.
Am I telling this story or you? Back in the 1800s, when our country was wild, not so many cities, not so many roads, no roads to speak of. Pioneers, we mountain men, we pioneers, we went out in the woods. We took exploration trips out there. We led the army out there to find things and to find new trails and blaze new trails. And we often came across these big, ugly, grizzly bears. Well, let me tell you, mountain man by the name of Jedediah Smith.
Yes, sir.
Jedediah Smith. He was a man that walked with God. And he almost met God too soon. He was leading his scouting party, came across this big old grizzly bear, and the bear practically ripped his head off. He got Jedediah's head in his mouth, and he just ripped it. But they got the bear off of him and chased it away. And Jedediah Smith had broken ribs, and his hair was hanging over this way, and his ear was ripped off. He got his friend, who was with him, said, "Get yourself a needle and thread, sew my ear back on." So he did. He sewed that ear back on and sewed that scalp back on. And 2 weeks later, Jedediah Smith, who was a good, godly man, he was leading another party on another exploration trip. So I've got another better one than that. Another mountain man, about 1828, I believe it was. Yeah, I remember it just like it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
No. Hugh Glass. Hugh Glass, another mountain man. He was leading a group of soldiers on an exploring party. And wouldn't you know, he came across an old sow bear. That's a mother bear with 2 baby cubs. And she got mad and she attacked Hugh. And Hugh pulled up his rifle and he shot her in the chest. Boom! And there was these big black powder rifles. It didn't even slow her down. It just made her mad. And she came after him, and he got his hunting knife out, and he defended himself as best he could, but that bear practically killed him. Oh man, they got the bear chased off of him. But the soldiers and his buddies thought that he was going to be dead. So, captain in charge of the military scouting party wanted 2 volunteers to stay with Hugh until he passed away. They didn't want to just leave him there. So one young man who became famous later on, his name was Jim Bridger, famous mountain man later on, and another man who didn't want to do it really, but he felt the captain wanted him to do it, so he said he'd do it. Okay, Mr. John Fitzgerald says, "I'll do it too." He really didn't want to. So they stayed with Hugh, and they figured he'd die that night. And the captain took the rest of the party and they left. They just left 2 men with poor old Hugh. Broken ribs, bleeding all over. They thought he was going to be dead by nightfall. Woke up the next morning, he's still alive. So they tried to use a little bit of water and try to care for him. Figured he'll die sometime today. Lived all day. 2 days went by. 3 days went by. 4 days went by. He was still hanging on to life. They figured he was going to die any moment. Just lying there. He lived another 5 days. And finally, Fitzgerald says, "Hey, I don't want to do this anyway. I'm getting out of here. He's going to die. Jim, you come with me. Let's go. He's going to die. No sense us getting scalped here when the engines come." So what they did, they figured that he was going to die anyway. So they took his gun, they took his knife, they took all his stuff, left poor old Hugh there to die. Well, he didn't die. He woke up. He was so sick. He was so strong, man. He couldn't even move. But there were some berries nearby, and he reached berries and he fed himself some berries. There's this little puddle of water. He drank some of that water and get strength back up. He couldn't even crawl. A couple of days went by like that and started getting his strength back. And not too far away from him, some wolves came and they killed a deer. So he crawled over to where they were, crawled over to where those deer were, or the deer was, a dead deer carcass, and for the first time in a week, he stood up. Oh man, it was so hard. And he chased those wolves off, and he got some fresh meat the first time in weeks. The first time in a week. And he started feeding himself. No gun, no knife, no nothing. But he started gaining strength. And so he crawled, and he walked, and he crawled, and he walked. Finally got a little bit of strength. Day after day after day after day after day.
Hello?
And all this time he's thought, man, when I get back to the fort, I'm gonna get Jim Bridger and John Fitzgerald. I'm gonna get even with them. That's what kept him alive. When he got back there, it took him 150 miles. He crawled and walked 150 miles with no gun, no rifle, no help at all. He made it. God helped him. And once he got back there, they were surprised to see him. And you know what he did to Jim Bridger and John Fitzgerald? He forgave him. He did what God wanted him to do. Forgave them for leaving him for dead. He went on to live, and that's a testimony to the way God will keep us if we just trust in him. And that's my yarn for today.
All right.
All right, hey guys, this has been all we got. We got one thing left to do, and it's an honor to invite Pastor Kevin Claw to come forward this moment. He's going to be our speaker tonight, and I understand he's got a really, really dynamic message. He hasn't told me what it is yet. It doesn't matter. I know what he's going to say.
Wow, thank you very much.
Thank you.
No, I won't give him any good stuff right now. I'm really privileged to be here, and I'm excited for you guys. I was told that every ranger outing for this section usually ends up in rain. And when I was driving here, even this afternoon, it was just rain and buckets. And I said, oh man, those boys are going to be soaked, and they're probably had some activities canceled. And here I pull up, and no, we haven't gotten any rain, and it's been beautiful, and we've been able to do the things we've done. And isn't God faithful like that?
Amen.
Keeping this meeting intact like this, and keeping it on schedule. And I'm going to be talking to you tonight about my own bar story, as George Reynolds shared a little bit. But this one's a true story, and I'm really excited to be able to be here tonight and share with you. So I just come to that council fire expecting God to do something in your heart and in your life tonight. Amen. Not when you leave here, not somewhere down the road when you're as old as I am, but tonight, God can meet you where you're at right now. Amen. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, see, that's a good thing. Who was this dude, right? He's not a bad person. Usually. Him? He's not. He almost not never. Almost always not never. But he's okay. Good.